Aman, let's start.
I'm audible.
Yes, you're audible.
Okay. Okay. Life is an interesting journey for all. From time to time, it's already to fit lovely. Look for some inspiration. So, for starting a new chapter for learning, I am Ankumar, being a host for today's event. Want to extend warm greetings and good evening to all of you present here. I hope you all are doing amazing and happy. On behalf of Wholesame's family, I welcome you all today's international webinar on topic Nobody to Somebody in 10 seconds. And to add our guest for honorable today's speaker, Colin, Colonel Sanjeev Saroi is to be an honor to have. We are grateful for your presence. Also, I quite number of people of joining. Before I proceed, let me take a brief introduction for our organization. Sames Welfare Foundation is a not-profit entity established on a work area of education, social welfare, women empowerment, skill development, and entrepreneurship, livelihood generation, employability, health, research, culture, international cooperation, sports, event protections, or any other similar sectors. We are promote health, life in a balance of active community and strong business. Now, let me introduce today's speaker to you all. Colonel Sanjeev Saroi, an economics graduation for Delhi University, joining Indian military in 1975, serviced for 35 years and retired as colonel in 2009. In last 11 years, he has interacted with more than successful path of developing the soft skill employability skills. In last couple of years, Colonel Sanjeev Sarai sir has partnered with a prestigious CBSE schools in NCR speaker with promoting life skills and helping there as identify the conduct of the teacher motivation and training workshop. Before I started today's webinar event, there are some ground rule with participant need to obligate and follow them. If any query, any question, please use the chat box. Every participant required to keep the mic mute. Lastly, feedback for share the chat box. Now over to you, sir.
Thank you, Aman. Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Are you audible?
Okay. Good evening to all. I welcome you to this webinar. And since you are present, I take it that you want to become somebody. Now, today's webinar is Nobody to Somebody in 10 seconds. Now, before I do that, let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, one old man who was an expert in the world of art, he died and went to heaven, where he met Saint Peter at the pearly gates. The old man asked Saint Peter that please introduce me to other people who are interested in the art. Saint Peter, standing at the pearly gate, said, "See that man with a beard? He was the greatest artist who ever lived. You want to meet him?" The old man said, "Saint Peter, I know that man and I know art. The man worked in a father's shoe store and he sold me all my shoes for years, and he is not an artist." Saint Peter, still standing at the pearly gates of heaven, replied, "Oh, He could have been the greatest artist who ever lived, but he thought he was a shoe salesman. That is the problem with most of us. We can become the greatest people, but we choose to stay ordinary. Now, there is law of Gente, which says that mediocrity and anonymity are the safest choice for anyone. If you opt for them, you will never find problem in life. But let me tell you, each one of us has far more potential for greatness that most of us can fathom. Every single one of us has greatness into our DNA. So we all can become somebody. Now, before I start with this thing, let me introduce my slides. Nobody to somebody in 10 seconds. I am not on this earth by chance. This is my prayer, and I want every one of you must also take this prayer every day. I am here for a purpose, and that purpose is to grow into a mountain and not to shrink to a grain of sand. So we all should strive to become a mountain and not a shrink of sand. Now, Sigmund Freud, an Austrian neurologist and the founder of this psychoanalysis, said that everything you and me do, they spring from two motives. And those motives are the sex urge and the desire to be great. John Dewey, one of the profound American philosophers, phrased it a bit differently. Dr. Dewey said that the deepest urge in human nature is the desire to be important. And I call it that it is the desire to be somebody. What do we want in life? Not many things, but few things that we do wish, we crave with an insistence that will not be denied. Some of the things most people want include health and preservation of life, food, sleep, money and things money will buy, sexual gratification, the well-being of our children, and lastly but not the least, the feeling of greatness or importance or somebody. Almost all these wants are usually gratified, all except one. But there is one longing almost as deep and as imperious as the desire for food or sleep, and which is seldom gratified. It is what Freud called the desire to be great, and Dewey called desire to be important, and I call desire to be somebody. Desire of feeling of importance is one chief distinguished difference between mankind and the animals. If our ancestors hadn't had this flaming urge of feeling of importance, civilization would not have been possible. Without it, we should have been just like animals. Now, let me give you an example from the history. It was this desire of feeling of importance that led an uneducated, poverty-stricken grocery clerk to study some law books and became the greatest president of America. That is Abraham Lincoln. It was this desire of feeling of importance that inspired Charles Dickens to write his immortal novels. And it was this desire that made Rockefeller amass millions which he never spent. History sparkles with amusing examples of famous people struggling for a feeling of importance. Even George Washington wanted to be called His Mightiness the President of America. Columbus pleaded for the title of Admiral of the Ocean and the Viceroy of India. Catherine the Great refused to open letters that were not addressed to her Imperial Majesty. So what it boils down to is that each one of us want to become great, important, or somebody. One thing is that we must know how to become a great or important or somebody. Everyone tells us that you should become great, you should do well in life, you should become important. But nobody tells us how to become great. Today, we will talk of ways and means to become somebody or to become great. But before we do that, let us understand some basic ways of life we live. Have you ever noticed or have you ever admired those successful people who seem to have it all? You see them chatting confidently at business meetings. You see them chatting comfortably in social gathering. They are the one with best jobs, the smartest spouses, the coolest friends, the biggest bank accounts, the most fashionable cars, and the palatial houses. But wait a minute. Let us consider. A lot of them aren't cleverer than you. They are not even better looking than you. So what is it? Some people say that they inherited. Some people say they married it. And lastly, some people say that they are plain lucky. But I want them to think again. Because what is important in life is that do you have the skills in dealing with fellow human beings? I'll give you an example. One of the first person in America business to be paid $1 million per year. Let me again say $1 million per year in 1920, when there was no income tax in America and the people who were earning $50 per month were well off. And that person's name was Charles Schwab. He had been picked up by Andrew Carnegie to become the first president of the United States Steel Company in 1921 when he was just 38 years old. Now, the question some people may ask is, was Charles Schwab very genius? No, he was not at all genius. Was he expert in manufacturing of the steel? No, he was not. In the words of Charles Schwab, he said that it was all because of his ability to deal with people. So what is important is that we have to deal with people if we have to become somebody. Nobody goes to the top alone. Over the years, people who seem to have it all have captured the hearts and conquered the minds of hundreds of people who boosted them up, rung by rung, to the whatever professional or social ladder they chose. Now, I want you to pay special attention to 5 important things which are there in our way of life. First is first sight. Now, let us see what is first sight. The moment two humans lays each eyes on each other, it has awesome potential. First sight of you is a brilliant holograph. It burns its way into your new acquaintance's eyes and can stay emblazoned in his or her memory forever. By looking at the individual, you can know his or her personality. Almost every facet of people's personality is evident from their appearance, their postures, and the way they move. First impressions are indelible. Why? Because in our fast-paced, information overload world, multiple stimuli are bombarding us every second and our heads are spinning. So we must have to form a quick judgment to make the sense of the world and get on with what we are doing. So whenever people meet you, they take an instant mental shot, and this image of you becomes the data they deal with for a very, very long time. It takes seconds to make a first impression. Research from New York University shows we make 11 major decisions about another person in first 7 seconds of meeting. Very, very important. 11 major decisions are made in 7 seconds whenever we meet someone. Now, what are these 11 impressions, approachable or not, friendly or not, his status, his authority, whether he is trustworthy or not, whether he is competent or not, likable or no, confidence, personality, temperament, and sincerity. So, in 7 seconds, you make an impression about a person. So, first impressions are indelible. Try to make good first impressions. Your body shrieks before your lips can speak. Now, the question is, whatever impressions are made, is their data accurate? Amazingly enough, yes. Even before your lips part and the first syllable escapes, the essence of you has already X'd its way into their brains. The way you look, the way you move is more than 80% of someone's first impression of you. Not one word be spoken. You cannot not communicate. There is nothing wrong in the English. It is absolutely true. Because communication is not a choice. The minute people see you, you have already started communicating. The only choice is either make this communication work for you or work against you. Long before we are close enough to speak, we announce ourselves. We project, reflect important information about ourselves. By the time we meet and vocally converse, we have already communicated volumes in an older and more universal language, and that language is language of dress, grooming. The body is far more persuasive than any spoken language. That was said by Alison Lurie, famous American author. So what I want to bring out here is that before you utter a word, you have already started communicating. So your first impression is very, very important wherever you go. If you want to become somebody, then you must have a good first impression. Last is sixth sense. Before you had time to process a rational thought, you get a sixth sense about someone. Studies have shown emotional reactions occur even before the brain has time to register what is causing that reaction. Thus, the moment someone looks at you, he or she experiences a massive hit, the impact of which lays the groundwork for the entire relationship. It is the sixth sense which tells us whether if you are going in a bus and there are empty seats and somebody is sitting there, when you enter the bus, the sixth sense tells you on which seat you should go and with whom you should go and sit. That is what our emotions tell us. Now, if you want to portray yourself somebody really cool, intelligent, strong, charismatic, principled, fascinating, caring, interested in other people, what should you do? Well, the answer is great posture, head up look, a confident smile, and a direct gaze. I'll repeat, great posture, head up look, confident smile, and direct gaze. It is the ideal image for somebody who is somebody. Now let us discuss few techniques we will need to become special person to everyone you meet. With these techniques, you will stand out as somebody in whatever crowd you find yourself, even if it is not your crowd. Now, what are these techniques which we are going to discuss today? Technique 1, the flooding smile. Technique 2, the sticky eyes. Technique 3, hang by your teeth. Technique 4, limit the fidget. Technique 5, Hence's horse sense. Technique 6, handshake, and lastly, clothing. So now let us take them one by one. Flooding smile. When you smile, whole world smile. Smile is like a sun. It brings light to all. What magic is there in smile? When you pay someone a compliment and smile, it multiplies the compliment many times. When you ask someone a favor and smile, he feels almost compelled to grant it. That is magic in a smile. Accept a favor of someone else and smile, and you add to the appreciation the fellow feels. Meet someone for the first time and smile, and he feels like he knows you all his life. So this is the magic in smile. Now, what a smile says? It says not only I like you, I come as a friend, but it also says I assume that you are going to like me. Another important thing smile says is you are worth smiling at. The person at whom we smile smiles back. What does his smile say? First two things were the one which our smile says. Now, when we smile at someone and he smiles back, what does his smile say? His smile reports the sudden well-being we have enabled him to experience. Very important. Our smile has made him smile deserving. That means he deserves that smile. We have picked him out of the crowd. He is a special person to us. And we have differentiated him and given him an individual status. You couldn't buy a magic elixir like that if you had all the money in the world. Yet, the good God gave us such magic. All you have to do is, and this magic is smile, all you have to do is bring it out of hiding, dust it off and put it to use. Now there is a caveat to it. In 1936, one of Dale Carnegie's 6 must in his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, one thing was, he said 6 things are very, very important. And what are those 6 things? Become genuinely interested in other people. Number 2 was smile. Remember, person name is the most important to him. Be a good listener. Number 5, talk in terms of other person's interest and make the other person feel important. So out of these 6, one was smile, which was must. Now, however, it is high time to re-examine the role of smile in high-level human relations. When you dig deeper into Dale's dictum, you will find in 1936, quick smile doesn't always work, especially nowadays. So we have to have a special smile. And I'll tell you the technique how to have a special smile. The old-fashioned instant grin carries no weight today in the sophisticated crowd. Look at the world leaders, negotiators, corporate giants. There is not a single smiling sycophant among them. Key players in all walks of life enrich their smile. So when it does erupt, it has more potency and the world smiles with them. Big winners know that their smile is an asset to them. The key players in life know that their smile is one of their powerful weapons. So they have fine-tuned it for maximum impact. Now, how to fine-tune your smile? This is very, very important. I want to bring out, and I want people to make a special attention on this. The studies have proved that people who were slow to smile in professional life were perceived as more credible. That means you have to smile, but smiling slowly will perceive you as a credible person. The study went on to say a big warm smile is an asset, but when it comes little slower, because then it has more credibility. However, you have to train yourself so that your lips erupt more slowly and also smile appears more sincere and personalized for the recipient. So the main point which I want to bring out here is That smile is very, very important. There is no doubt in that. But if you have to improve on your smile, and how do you improve on your smile? You have to fine tune it. And fine tuning is that when you meet anyone, don't immediately smile. Just look at him, see his persona, and then start smiling. Don't flash an immediate smile when you greet someone, as though anyone who walked into your line of sight would be the beneficiary. That is number one. Instead, look at the other person's face for a second. Pause, soak in their persona, then let a big, warm, responsive smile flood over your face and overflow into your eyes. It will engulf the recipient like a warm wave. The split-second delay convinces people your flooding smile is genuine and only for them. Very, very important. So only thing what you have to do is, for a split second, delay your smile. And if you delay your smile, people will take you as a credible person. They will respect you, and that will create a very, very good relation, and you will become somebody. Next, we come to the sticky eyes, very important. It will be only a slight exaggeration if I say that Helen of Troy could sink ships with her eyes, and Davy Crockett could stare down a bear. Your eyes are your personal grenades that have the power to detonate people's emotions, just as martial arts register their fist as lethal weapons. You can register your psychological lethal weapons when you master the following eye contact technique, which I am going to tell you now. It is very, very important. You must pay special attention to it. Big players in the game of life look beyond the conventional wisdom that teaches us to keep good eye contact. We have to go beyond that. For one, they understand that to certain suspicious or insecure people, intensive eye contact can be a virulent intrusion. In some culture, intense eye contact can be a sorcery. In others, staring at someone can be threatening or disrespectful. In Western culture, however, big winners know exaggerated eye contact can be extremely advantageous. In business, strong eye contact packs a powerful envelope between people. Strong eye contact can awaken the feeling of respect and affection. And lastly, it also gives the impression of being an intelligent and abstract thinker. Now, how can you become an abstract thinker? Well, how the abstract thinkers, what they do is they integrate incoming data more easily than concrete thinkers. They can continue looking into someone's eyes even during the silences. Their thought processes are not distracted by peering into their partner's peoples. Your partner's emotional reaction to your profound gaze has a biological base. You must understand. Whenever we say that you must maintain an eye contact, it has a biological base. When you look intently at someone, it increases their heartbeat and shoots an adrenaline-like substance gushing through their veins. This is the same physical reaction people have when they start to fall in love. That is the first thing which happens when you maintain eye contact with anyone. People feel they have captivated you. Very important. And lastly, it signals trust, knowledge, and I am for your attitude. Now, this man, you all know, Bill Clinton, is famous for his eye contact in the world. In fact, people say that he has the best eye contact in the world. He makes you feel that you are here the only person in the room. He also makes you feel that he cares most about you. Now let me show you a video. One sec, there is some technical problem. Let me sort out that. One sec, there is some technical issue with these slides.
No problem, sir.
Yeah. I want to show a video, and please, I want you to keep a special, just observe. I don't know whether you will be able to hear the video, the sound or not, but just hear how Bill Clinton is talking.
Sir, video is not run.
Now, this video, if you see this video, and I suggest that you must see this video, when Bill Clinton is asked the question, he closes the distance between the person to whom he is conversing. Aman Kumar, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Okay. So in this video, you will see that when Bill Clinton was asked the question, he closes the distance between him and that person who had asked the question. That is number one. Number two, 90 to 95% of the time, while speaking, he was directly looking at the listener. This is very, very important. Not many people struggle to do this. They are very comfortable while listening and maintaining eye contact. But when it comes to speaking and maintaining eye contact, they become very uncomfortable because they cannot think, speak, and maintain eye contact. If you want to become somebody, then you must learn to speak while maintaining eye contact. This is very, very important. Now, he holds eye contact with her, that lady. The woman starts nodding and is mesmerized by his eye contact. When he breaks contact, he doesn't do abruptly. He starts shaping his body, thereby giving an indication that he is about to end. So, maintaining eye contact is one thing, but maintaining eye contact in a correct fashion is the one which I told you that when you are speaking to someone, you must maintain eye contact, which is very difficult. With practice, you can do that. Now, what is the lesson we can learn from this video of Bill Clinton? Look people in the eyes when you are speaking. Narrow eyes will be much better, especially with men. You can open them to communicate certain feelings, but never go for bug eyes. Be expressive with your eyebrows. Your head tilts and muscles around your eyes. Say goodbye metaphorically before you walk away. Before you break eye contact, you should turn your body and walk away. That will make people feel that you care for them. Now, to summarize, pretend your eyes are glued to your conversation partners with sticky warm toffee. Don't break eye contact even after he or she has finished speaking. When you must look away, do it ever slowly, reluctantly, stretching the gooey toffee until the tiny sting finally breaks. So that is how you must maintain eye contact and break eye contact. Now we come to the third technique, that is hang by your teeth. Now you must have noticed when a big jolt of happiness hits your heart and you feel like a winner, your head jerks up automatically and you throw your shoulders back, a smile frames your lips and soften your eyes. You see on this slide that this person is a winner. His head is up, his shoulders are back, and his lips are framed with smile, and he softened his eyes. This is the look winners have constantly. They stand with assurance, they move with confidence, and they smile softly with pride. No doubt about it. Good posture symbolizes you are a man or woman who used to be on being on top. But most of us fail on this. Millions of mothers and trillions of teachers tell the children to stand straight, but that does not make people straight. Ours is the nation of slouchers. We need a technique sterner than teachers and more persuasive than parents to make us stand like somebody. Your posture is the biggest barometer for success. Now, how to achieve winner somebody posture? I'll tell you a technique which is very important. Let me see in the chat box if there are any questions. Okay, now the technique is very simple. Before walking through the door to your office, a party, a meeting, and even your kitchen door, visualize a leather bit hanging by a cable from the frame. It is swinging just 1 inch above your head. As you pass through the door, throw your head back and chomp on the imaginary dental grip, which first pulls your cheeks back into smile and then lifts you up. You have to visualize that. Whenever you are going through any door, just visualize that there is a leather bit which is hanging and you chomp on the imaginary dental grip, which will first pull your cheeks back into smile and lift you up. As you ascend high, your body is stretched into a perfect alignment. And what is the perfect alignment? Your head is high, your shoulders are back, your torso is out of hips, and your feet are weightless. On an average, person goes through the door 60 times a day. I'll repeat, on an average, a person goes through a door 60 times a day. Visualize anything 60 times a day and it becomes a habit. Habitual good posture is the first mark of big winner. A great posture, head up look, a confident smile, and direct gaze. That is what is required to become somebody. Visualize a circus iron jaw bit hanging from the frame of every door you walk through. Take a bite and with it firmly between your teeth, let it sweep you to the peak of the big top. When you hang by your teeth, every muscle is stretched into perfect posture position. You are now ready to float and looking like the most important somebody in the room. So, this is about the posture. You should stand straight, your head should be up, your shoulder back, confident smile, and soft eyes. That will give impression to everyone that you are a winner. Now, limit the fidget. This is also very important, but most of the people are involved in this fidgeting. Now, being in this field for last 13 years, I can always tell when an interviewee is lying. Once I was interviewing a lady for the post of lecturer. Throughout the interview, the lady had been sitting with her left leg crossed over her right. Her hands were comfortably on the lap, and she was looking directly at me. She was maintaining perfect eye contact. I asked her salary. Without swearing her eyes from mine, she told me. I asked if she enjoyed the work. Same, she was looking directly at me, and she said yes. Then I asked the third thing, that why did she leave the previous job? At this point, her eyes fleetingly darted away before regaining the eye contact again. Then, while answering the question, she shifted in her seat and crossed her leg over left, and at one point she puts her hand up her mouth. That's all I needed. With her words, she was telling me that she was leaving that previous job because there were no growth opportunities. But her body told me she was not being entirely forthright. She was breaking eye contact. She was shifting on a seat, leg movement, putting hand on the mouth. Are all these body signals accurate? Exactly, they are accurate. Why? Because when the average person tell a lie, he or she is emotionally aroused and bodily changes do take place. When then happens, they fidget. So whenever you are telling lie, you are emotionally aroused and there are a lot of bodily changes taking place. Now let us see what are the bodily changes which are taking place. Scientists at the Smell and Taste Treatment Center Foundation in Chicago found that when you lie, a chemical known as catecholamines is released, causing tissue inside the nose to swell. So when you lie, the catecholamine is released, which causes the tissue inside the nose to swell. It increases the blood pressure, number 2. Number 3, the human nose expands with blood during lying and is known as Pinocchio effect. Increased blood pressure inflates the nose and causes the nerve endings in the nose to tingle, resulting in a brisk rubbing action to the nose with the hand to satisfy the itch. These are the bodily changes which take place when we tell lie. We must understand that. And because of all these bodily changes, we start fidgeting. American neurologist Alan Hirsch And psychiatrist Charles Wolfe did an extensive analysis of Bill Clinton's testimony to the grand jury on his affair with Monica Lewinsky and found that when he told the truth, he rarely touched his nose. When he lied, however, he gave split-second frown and before he answered and touched his nose once every 4 minutes and grand total of 26 nose touches. So whenever someone is telling a lie, invariably he is going to touch the nose or touch his face. Now we have to be beware of appearance of lying even when we are telling the truth. Sometimes we are not telling the lie, we are telling the truth. But because of the emotions and intimidation by the other person, we start fidgeting. Now let me give you an example. A young man telling an attractive woman about his business success might shift his weight. A woman talking about her company's record to an important client could rub her neck. A businessman who doesn't feel nervous at all could loosen his collar because the room is stuffy. And a politician giving a speech outdoor could blink his eyes excessively because the air is dusty. So all these things are happening. It is not that they are telling lie, but it all happens because of certain other things. So we have to be aware of it. And we must make sure that we don't fidget. Because if we start fidgeting, we will give an impression to the listener that we are telling a lie. So what do we do to avoid that? You must fix a constant gaze on your listener. That is number one. Never put hands on your face. Don't massage your forearm when it tingles or rub your nose when it itches. Don't loosen your collar when it is hot or blink your eyes because it is sandy. And lastly, don't wipe away tiny perspiration beads in public or shield your eyes from the sun. If you do that, then you will be able to make an impression that you are not telling a lie. And you have to suffer because fidgeting undermines the credibility. Now I'll tell you a real life incident. In 1960, during the presidential election in the United States, there were two contenders, Richard Nixon and John F. Kennedy. Now, this was the first time on 25th September 1960, this presidential debate was televised. Now, political pundits speculate, and in that election, Nixon lost to John F. Kennedy. Political pundits speculate that Nixon's lack of makeup, his fidgeting, and mopping his brow on camera lost him the election. So, if a president of America or the contestant loses his election because of fidgeting, you can understand how important this is. So, let us summarize this technique. Whenever your conversation really counts, let your nose itch, your ear tingle, or your foot pickle. Do not fidget, twitch, wiggle, squirm, or scratch. And above all, keep your hands away from your face, hand motion near your face, and all fidgeting can give your listeners the gut feeling that you are lying. So this is the sixth technique. Now I come to the seventh technique, that is Hens's horse sense. Very, very important. Now let us tackle the intelligence. And you may ask me, can people come across as more intelligent than they really are? Well, I'll tell you yes, if you have the horse's sense. I don't know whether you have heard of or not, but there in 1900, there was a horse whose name was Hans. Hans was considered the most intelligent horse in the history, and he used the technique and I am about to suggest. But before I do that, I must tell you a story of Clever Hans. Now, Clever Hans was owned by Herr von Osten, a person in Berlin. Now, he trained this horse to do simple arithmetic by tapping his right front hoof. So prodigious was his ability that the horse fame quickly spread out throughout the Europe, and he became known as Clever Hans, the counting horse. Now, what could he do? He could add, he could subtract and divide, he could do the multiplication tables. Without his owner uttering a word, Hans could count out the size of his audience, number of people who were wearing the glasses, or respond to any counting questions he was asked. Finally, he has learned the language, which is only for the human beings. By tapping out hoof, beat for each letter, he could tell which letter he's talking about. He answered any question about anything which a human had read in a newspaper or heard in a radio. He could answer questions on history, geography, and human biology. Now, when people came to know about this, there was a lot of hue and cry, and people wanted to know, what is this? Is it a clever trickery or an equine genius? So a commission was set up to find out. Now, when the commission it assembled, so they decided that there must be something his owner must be doing, as a result of which Hans was giving the right answers. So what they did was they asked the owner to leave the room, and the audience were the researchers, the psychics, the horse lovers, the scientists, and the reporters. So the commission member asked a question to horse and he answered correctly. Second time again he was asked, again he answered correctly. Now everyone was astonished that how could a horse answer the question. So the second commission was appointed, and this time what they did was that they asked this horse a question in his ear by whispering, as a result of which he could not answer. Now everyone was surprised. Can you guess what was the reason? Reason was when the audience knew the answer, Hans did too. Now you can guess what happened was people gave off very subtle body language signals the moment Hans hoof gave the right number of taps. When Hans started tapping the answer to a question, the audience would show subtle signs of tension. Then when Hans reached the right number, they used to respond by expulsion of breath or slight relaxation of muscles. One Austin had trained Hans to stop tapping at that point and therefore appear to give the right answer. So what had used to happen is that he watched his audience's reactions very carefully and planned his responses accordingly. So if horse can do it, we can also do it. Now I'll give you another example. Suppose you are watching a TV and suddenly the phone rings and someone tells you to mute the TV button. Now what has happened is that now you can see the images, but you can't hear anything. But if you pay special attention and you see how people are smiling, scowling, smirking, squinting, you will be able to find out that what these people are thinking or what they are doing. That is what is Hans's horse sense. Watching people, seeing how they are reacting, and then making moves accordingly. Even while you're talking, keep your eyes on your listeners. And when I am giving offline classes or when I am talking offline to people, I always keep my eyes on the audience because that gives me the signal whether they are enjoying the talk or whether they are getting bored. So you can do a similar thing. Now, when you speak to someone, when you're talking to someone, just keep this thing in mind. Are they smiling? Are they nodding? Are their palms up? So that means they like what they are hearing. Secondly, if they are frowning, They are looking away, their knuckles are clenched, maybe they don't like what they are hearing. And lastly, are they rubbing their necks? Are they stepping back? Are their feet pointing towards the door? Maybe they want to get out. Now, you don't need a complete course on body language. Already, most of you have a lot of experiences and you have a good grounding on this subject. Most people know if their conversation partner steps back or look away, that means they are not interested in what you are saying. When you think you are pain in the neck, they will start rubbing their neck. When they feel superior to you, they stipple their hands. So that is what is the importance of watching people and watching their body language, especially when you are talking to them, because then you will be able to respond accordingly. Now let us summarize. Make it a habit to get on a dual track. And what is dual track is, while talking or while expressing yourself, keep a keen eye on how your listener is reacting to what you are saying. Then you plan your moves accordingly. If a horse can do it, so can you. People will say you could pick up on everything, you never miss a trick, you have got a horse sense, and you are somebody. So these were the techniques. Now I will briefly touch upon two more things which are very, very important if you want to become somebody. I'll just go slightly fast because they are self-explanatory. Handshake, who should reach first? Very, very important. Although it is generally accepted custom to shake hands when meeting a person for the first time, but there are certain circumstances in which it may not be appropriate for you to initiate handshake. In professional scenario, it is the senior who initiates the handshake. There should be no doubt on that. In social context, considering that handshake is a sign of trust and welcome, before extending your hand, ask yourself a question. Are you welcome? Is this person happy to meet you, or you are forcing yourself on him? If you get the answer, then take the step of initiating your hand. Number two is how to create a repo. Now, repo can be created by two ways. Firstly, when you are shaking hand, make sure that your palm is what is in vertical position so that no one is dominating and no one is submissive. And second, apply the same pressure as you receive. Now, types of handshake, there are basically number of handshake, but I'll just say three types. First is lip handshake, which indicates that you are low in confidence, you are nervous, and you are less interested in shaking hand. Number two is a bone crusher. That means you are compensating for low confidence by pressing hard. And third is firm handshake, which talks about confidence you have. Now, let us see what is the perfect handshake. Maintain proper eye contact. Your forearms should be perpendicular to the body. Web to web firm grip. Clean and dry hands. And 2 to 3 pumps and you smile. This is the perfect handshake. What perfect handshake says about you? Firstly, it says that you are a confident personality. Number two, you are a reliable person. Number three, you are aware of etiquettes. And fourthly, you will give a good impression about yourself. And last, we come to the clothing part. Like it or not, you are being judged by how you look, how you dress, and how you carry yourself. And if you are lucky, how you do your job. It was published in Forbes magazine. So, how you do your job is the last priority. The clothing we wear affects our psychological states as well as our performance levels. Intentionally choose to wear clothing that will induce more desirable psychological states and enhance task-related performance. Researchers of Northwestern University on Unclothed Cognition. Now, brand yourself before other brand you. Now, how do you brand yourself? How you look plus how you speak plus how you act is equivalent to your personal brand. Dress how you want to be addressed. And lastly, what Jig Ziglar said, you cannot climb the ladder of success dressed in the costume of failure. Here I come to the end of my talk. If there are any questions, I will take them one by one. And I want you all to ask questions. Because if you want to become somebody, then you should clear all your doubts. And let me assure you that if you follow these techniques which I have talked about, one was regarding the smile, second was about the eye contact, third was about your posture, fourth was about your fidgeting, fifth was about your body language, sixth was handshake, and seventh was clothing. I can assure you, you will become somebody, you will become important, and you will become great. Any question, please?
So if any questions, then ask for sir.
Let me see if there are any questions. Yeah, great is okay, but I want you to ask me the question. Because if you ask me the question, then, or if you have any feedback on my distinct talk regarding the content or the delivery, then I will welcome that because it will help me in my improving myself. Because we are all learning and we should keep on learning as long as we are alive. Any question, please? Sir, okay. Abhishek Kumar wants to ask what is the difference between real personality and fake personality? There is no fake personality because you cannot fake yourself. You cannot fake yourself for too long. You may fake people for few moments, for 1 or 2 days, but actual personality, the real personality will come out. And it will come up very fast, let me assure you that. Because first impression itself will give you your true personality. And I can assure you with experience, people can make out whether it is a fake personality or it is a or it is a real personality. What is the role? Sir, in a class of students, there are some who directly show body language or disinterest, only one probably or few how to deal with them or ignore any other ways. Well, in a class, you will find, I agree with you that you will find few people who are not interested. They'll be looking left, right. They'll be looking down. They'll be watching their watch. They'll be fiddling with their mobile. Don't focus on them. I can tell you, these people will only be few in percentage. You will find most of the people who will come for your class, they'll be interested, focus on that. Because if you start focusing on those people who are not interested, then they will drain your energy. And I don't look at those people who are not interested. I focus myself on those people who are interested. And your energy increases with that. What is the role of willpower? There is no role of willpower. These are techniques. If you follow these techniques, you don't require willpower. You just practice these techniques. And with practice, you will improve. I can assure you on that. And all these techniques can be practiced every day. How to know a person is well enough matured in all life qualities and having well etiquette, so the one who is trying to flirt or to manage time. Well, I can tell you that the way the person, when you meet a person for the first time and he is not even spoken, I can tell you, you can form the first impression. But only thing is you must have an open mind. It should not be biased mind. Because if you are biased toward a person, then your emotions are clouding your rational thinking. And as a result, you will not be able to appreciate or comprehend the personality of the other person. So if you have an open mind, and there is no bias, favorable or unfavorable, then I can assure you, you can make out. But it comes only with experience. Yeah. Anything else?
Questions?
I don't think there are any other questions. So, do mode of communication also play important role in confidence? Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Communication also play a very, very important role. If you are, like I told you, it is how you move, how you speak, how you dress up. That is what the maximum thing which will count on that.
Okay, so
Okay.
no, sir. Any other questions?
Okay, there are no questions.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Let's move on. What a wonderful, knowledgeable give you, sir. I hope audience are learning many things in these sessions. And once again, I would like to thank to you, your sharing your experience and precious time for knowledge with us. So thank you so much, sir, for this session. So feedback link will be shared. Uh, so okay, let's open the all the cameras. Let's take a screenshot. Neela, you'll take a screenshot.
Aman, it's done. You can move forward.
Okay, sir.
क्लास चल रही है अभी?
Yes, sir. So now move on. Thank you so much for cooperating. So stay connect us for new learning. I am Aman Kumar, your host for the day. Sing off. Have a wonderful day. Thank you everyone to for joining us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
sir.
Thank you very much.
Now you all leave right now.